Libra ascendant. If you're a Libra ascendant, then Ketu's energy is influencing your ascendant, and if you're a Libra moon sign, Ketu is hovering right on top of your moon. Saturn has a 10th aspect from Capricorn on Libra zodiac sign. And when Jupiter becomes direct in your 6th house, in the sign of Pisces, this is like a much needed relief, because this is like a course correction. This is like clarity of thought. This is like learning from the adverse situations of life and then correcting your karma, streamlining everything. So if something is random, something is chaotic in your life, expect it to be more smooth. Things will become more positive. You will get more justice. You will also see that your roles and responsibilities in your career is expanding. And if you want to take a higher role and higher responsibility, this is the time to go for that. With Saturn stable in your 4th house, buying a real estate, land, assets, if it is a necessity, then it is possible, then it is a good thing to do, because otherwise it will expand the debt and you will end up burying yourself into so much of debt that it will become difficult for you to get rid of it. Jupiter aspecting the 12th house is also going to increase your expenses, so be slightly careful on that part. But also try to understand that Jupiter's influence on the 2nd house is also good. This will resolve dispute in the family, especially in the marriage. Your knowledge and your wisdom will prove to be beneficial to you, and it will come handy. Your past experience will come handy. It is a good time for students who are going to give competitive examination, but then you will always have to give 2 times more effort, because 6th house Jupiter also means that your enemies are also stronger. Definitely not a time to wage a war. Definitely not a time to get engaged into any unnecessary court case. This is the time to remain humble, focus on your own path, your own goal, your own ambition, and just follow a linear approach. Otherwise, Rahu in the 7th house can bring so much of distractions, although Jupiter will constantly remind you of your duties. So this is the time when you should focus on what you are supposed to do, that what you want to do. Because if you focus on what you're supposed to do, you're focusing on the Jupiterian quality. But if you focus on what you want to do, you're focusing on the Rahu and Ketu energies. 1 and 7 axis has also seen an eclipse. So beware of any random energy. Also be very careful on whom you trust. Sometimes you can learn a lot from an adverse situation than what you can learn throughout life. One adverse situation gives an experience of lifetime, and that is, I'm not saying that life will be adverse during this transit, but I'm saying is that of all the adverse situation you have been through till now, learn something from it. On the matters of business, it's a good time. It's a good time. You can do something unique during this time. New initiatives can be taken. You can bring in more learned people in your team. The most important fact is that you need to delegate your responsibilities, and you need to focus on one thing at a time. And what can be delegated should be delegated. Yes, if you try to do too many things all at once, your responsibilities will increase, obviously. That is why if you try too many things, or if you put your hand in too many things one at a time, all at once, then you will see that you will be in a very difficult situation, and then your words will come out to be wrong. Your commitment will become untrue. You will fail on your promises and commitments, and that will hurt your image, and that can hurt your career also. So be true to your words and fulfill your promise, fulfill your commitment, and do not commit anything that you think you cannot achieve. Overcommitment will become a big problem otherwise. But if everything is fine, you are maintaining that discipline. If you're maintaining that disciplined lifestyle, your image will increase, promotion is on the card, job responsibilities will increase, you will be given a higher pedestal, a higher role, and your responsibilities, your potential will make you indispensable and a required asset. Make the best use of this transit. Check the movement of Mars also. As long as Mars is retrograde, this is a bad time for marriage related negative issues. Try not to compete with knowledge rather than share and learn. But overall, if I see, it's a good time. Scorpio ascendant. Scorpio is an ascendant which has battled with the presence of Ketu, and now it has received not only the freedom from the energies of Ketu but also the blessings of Jupiter. Jupiter with the ninth aspect is blessing the sign of Scorpio, and with a direct motion, Scorpio is one zodiac sign that will get the divinity of Dev Guru Brihaspati. If you are a Scorpio ascendant or a Scorpio moon sign, and especially if you are Anuradha Nakshatra, you will see Jupiter 5th from your position, your ascendant. 5th house Jupiter wants you to learn, wants you to explore, wants you to expand your punya. So this is the time when you learn about good activities. How can you become a better human being? The only drawback here is that Jupiter being in the 5th house might also cause Karko Bhava Nasham in a certain way. There can be arguments on that, but that Jupiter may give you more pressure on learning things. That means you might in your career be in a situation where you are forced to learn something. You might have to adapt to adverse situation and circumstances. That is like a forced learning. Suddenly you might realize if you are a student that you are unprepared and now the load is very high. The best way to handle this situation is accept the Jupiterian energy as it is and focus on your Agya Chakra. Do the Gyan Mudra meditation at least 10 minutes every day, does not matter what age you are. 5th house is the house of mantra. It is the house where the vibration originates. It's the solar plexus. And when the Jivakaraka Guru goes there, it brings life from nowhere. It just makes the energy of the horoscope so lively. But it's not easy. It's not going to offer on a platter. You have to work for that. You will have to tirelessly make efforts, and consistency is going to be the key in the next 6 months, especially because Saturn is in the 3rd house, asking you to continuously work, and in future Saturn will be in the 4th house, creating a Shashyog in your horoscope. Combine both these energies, and this talks about foreign travel, higher education, getting your dreams, seeing your dreams come true, your desires getting fulfilled, hard work coming your way, justice being served, although things will be slow. See, here you will have to be very careful about doing anything in excess. Even studying, nothing should be in excess. So you must have this upper limit, and once you reach that upper limit, you should be like, you are done. Talk about investment, talk about productivity, talk about hours of work. You must cap everything to a certain level, and you should only break that threshold if absolutely necessary. Jupiter will aspect the 9th house and the 1st house, therefore it will improve your health. Correct the diet and focus on the health of your liver. Drink plenty of water, and you can do yogasana associated with stomach area. If you are healthy and you don't have any problem there, you can consult a yoga guru, a doctor. But definitely try to reduce fat. Don't go overweight during this time, because the chance that your weight will increase due to change in metabolism will be very high during this time. Now, combine this with Rahu in 6th house. This is the time when you should not show your power of knowledge, because it will create enemies. It will create lot of arrogance within you and controversies will happen. This is the time to remain humble. This is the time to focus on your own knowledge and expand your own horizon. And especially if you are a person who is looking for a childbirth, or trying for a childbirth, you will have to be more careful during this time. Praying Jupiter Bij Mantra, Narayana Mantra, Vishnu Sahasranam are some of the ways by which you can make this Jupiter extract the positive and give you, because now you are going to learn through the rituals, you are going to learn through the divinity, because 5th aspect of Jupiter falls in the Dharma house. And that is the beauty of this water trine, that Jupiter somehow manages to bring the wealth of knowledge out of this Samudra Manthan that is happening. Wherever your water sign is, you will see that the Samudra Manthan will happen in that trine. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Mars will be in retrograde motion for some time in the 7th house. So you need to be extra cautious, especially if you have a bad marriage, and you have to deal everything with maturity, and a lot of communication is needed. See, if you will have a restrictive communication, or a communication where you're trying to be dominant or you're trying to be intimidating, that's going to backfire. But if you're honest, if you're truthful, if you're grounded, if you're humble, then you will see that the conversation will become fruitful. If you're thinking to get married, you need to be slightly careful because of this retrograde Mars in the 7th house, because this has a very high chance of either making your friends enemies or creating controversy in public. But this also gives you an opportunity to meet an age-old, long-lost friend, and that will be a good moment to cherish. Overall, this is going to be a learning transit, a transit where you get to understand what's your appetite of risk, appetite of happiness, appetite of sadness. And you set goals for the next 12 years, because after this Jupiter will come to this place only after 12 years. So prepare a 12-year plan and talk with yourself. Where do you want to see yourself 12 years ahead? So have a conversation with a 12-year older version of you and 12-year younger version of you. And you will see that the exact message of Jupiter will lie in that conversation. Sagittarius Ascendant. Your ascendant is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter will become direct in your 4th house, and this Jupiter is extremely auspicious because this is your ascendant lord in its own zodiac sign, in the Kendra, central house, in the house of happiness and satisfaction, becoming direct. And with a stable Saturn in the 2nd house, this takes away all the financial worries. Yes, the growth will be stable and steady, not exponential, but this gives you an opportunity to build more assets, upgrade your house. This gives you the opportunity to receive financial help, maybe through inheritance and maybe through family members. 4th house Jupiter also represents your duty and responsibility towards your country, mother, home. And if you're doing that, if you're fulfilling your duty with silence and not showing all what you have done, then Jupiter will bless you, will take away all the negative energies, and it will utilize the power of Prarabdha Karma to take control of the 8th and the 12th house. Now, Sagittarius is a very unique zodiac sign. If you are a Sagittarius ascendant or even a moon sign, you will see that your 8th house has a zodiac sign which finds the exaltation of your ascendant lord. That's very unique. A Lagna lord gets exalted in the house of its death, 8th house, which first of all tells us that 8th house is not the house of death. It's the house of longevity, transformation, investment. So when this planet aspects the 8th house, it increases the health, it gives you power of life, it enhances the prana vayu in the body, it takes away the negative energy, and it gives you this power of detoxification and the power to let go and cleanse. This is the time when you should take healing for the chakras. You should do chakra balancing meditation if possible, yoga, pranayam, correcting your diet. And because it is 4th house, you have to also ensure what's close to your heart. It will expand the Anahat chakra. And the power of love and the power to see everything equally is what this Jupiter will teach you. But this will also teach you, because Jupiter is not Venus, Jupiter will also teach you who is worthy of what. But because Saturn is in the 2nd house, you have to be very careful with your words, and you have to show the power of diplomacy. Your words should be carefully crafted, and you have to speak in a manner that is more influential, because you will have the power to not only be happy but also spread the happiness and radiate the happiness, so that people around you will feel joy, and the aura will influence them and correct their energies also. Good time to buy a property, buy a car, but a retrograde Mars should be carefully dealt. So until Mars is retrograde, if you're going to buy something, ensure you're buying because of a necessity. Don't spend just because you have to spend. You have to see the pros and cons, and you have to prove or justify that is necessary for you. 4th house Jupiter also talks more about following your passion. It directly aspects your career house. People involved in Vastu, architecture, interior designing. People who are involved in school, coaching, institutes, astrologers. People who are craftsmen, who wants to pursue higher education, who wants to open an educational institution, will seek some good positive career boost during this time. Well, if you want to go back to your home and work from home, if you want to go back to a country of your choice and work from there, this is the time which is more favorable to you, especially if you are in Jupiter Mahadasha. And a Jupiter 9th aspect in the 12th house also talks about your dharma to donate. This is the time when you have things in plenty, you are supposed to give. So this is a transit of giving, because you will get everything in surplus. So start giving wherever possible. Start giving to people wherever you think it is good. And the power of donation will give you, the power of sacrifice will give you that power by which you can become more and more happy and peaceful. It's a transit of peace, happiness, and satisfaction. Capricorn ascendant. Now, if you're a Capricorn ascendant, you have to see that Jupiter will become direct in your 3rd house, and this will improve your learning skills. If you're into academics, if you're into learning, if you're into edtech, fintech, you will see that your skills will bring you good results, and you will be able to express yourself in a much better and in a much stable manner. Especially if you are focusing on your soft skills, if you're focusing on your body language, this is going to be the right time to show some sort of improvement. For HR, somebody who is into academics, learning and development will see good progress, good results. And Jupiter, while it is in the 3rd house, Saturn is stable in your 1st house, and that talks about stable decisions, positive decisions, right decisions in life. And once Mars, which is retrograde right now, once it becomes direct, then the decisions taken by you will be far more positive and controlled. But this is also the time when you should avoid showing your might, showing your power of knowledge, but rather if you have a talent, it will come. All you have to do is keep on trying, keep on attempting, but in the right direction. And Jupiter, when it goes in the third house and it becomes direct, it will aspect your seventh house and 11th house, talking about new initiatives that you will take to fulfill your desire. And this is also the time to pull up your socks and act. And before you act, you must learn the process, learn the art before you become an artist. Because Jupiter will aspect your seventh house, it will try to resolve disputes coming through marriage. But it will also give you necessary teachings. If you're already in a bad relation, you need to learn why it became bad and try to resolve it if you want to resolve it. This also creates new prospects of marriage, new business contracts, new development in your business, expansion, buying new companies, building new factories. All those things is part and parcel of this Jupiterian energy, because 7th house will also receive Saturn's blessing. So whatever you will do, you have to do concrete steps. Don't do anything half-hearted. If you are unsure, then don't act. Jupiter will also aspect your 9th and 11th house. And with this, it promises to fulfill your desire. And it wants you to meet your destiny. So take every event that happens in your life carefully and observe the path of that event and why it is happening. And then you decide your next step after you know why it has happened. Do not react to the situation. If you have problems with siblings, that will also get resolved. If you want to adopt a child, this is the right time to bring another child in your family. Jupiter in the third house will also give you financial growth. It will give you power of creation. You should practice Hasta Mudra. You should practice Yajna and Havan. And also, because Jupiter talks about communication, it also talks about courage. It is the right time to face your fear and get rid of it. If you do not know what to do, at least talk to a psychologist, a person who can help you to get rid of fear. This is the time to trim down the negative energy and bring more positive energy, and pray to Bhagwan Krishna. If you can learn flute, it will be a very good move. From the perspective of health, some initiatives are supposed to be taken. You need to curb your desire. Your desire will expand, but if you just give in to your desire, you will end up eating junk food. You will end up consuming more. So if you are healthy, maintain that and control your desire. There has to be upper limit of everything in your life right now. We cannot ignore the power of Rahu. Rahu is in your 4th house and Ketu is in your 10th house. So this also talks about initiatives taken to get out of your career, follow your passion. Everything is fine. But do not forget that Saturn is still on your ascendant. And for the next 3 years, Saturn will be in your 2nd house, controlling your resources. So whatever you do, you must be able to justify your action, both to your parents, to your well-wishers, and to God. Overall, it's an extremely auspicious time, a time of balancing. So do all sorts of balancing act and take the middle neutral path. Aquarius Ascendant. Jupiter rules your 2nd and 11th house. So basically it controls your recurring income as well as your financials, your bank account, your family, your voice, your speech. So this is the time when you should greet and meet people with a broad smile and spread joy and laughter and speak the words of knowledge. This is the time to share what you have learned and also talk your heart out and open up and release the negative energy from within you. Jupiter will become direct in your 2nd house, and that is something which is going to prepare the road for the future, which is positive, which is far more, I will say, progressive, and the one that can give you a lot of financial success. It's also the time when new members in the family will add up and your family will expand, and you will also see that your expenses towards your family is also increasing. But if you're looking for a job change, if you're looking for a stable growth, if you're looking for a considerable amount of movement in your career, this is going to be a favorable time. But you also have to understand that Saturn will move in your first house from January next year. So this Jupiter energies are going to be controlled more by Saturn, and it is right now getting controlled by Shani because Saturn has third aspect on this Jupiter. And once Saturn moves in your first house, it is going to create a Shash Yoga, but it would want you to move into leadership roles. It will want you to take more responsibilities, and more will be on your plate. So definitely it's not the time to rest, but it's a time to act, it's a time to prove, it's a time to keep moving in the right direction. A second house Jupiter will aspect your 8th house, therefore this will increase your investment. So investments made during this time will prove to be beneficial. Do check your horoscope. This is just a general guidance, but investment made during this time will prove to be beneficial for you. Just that you have to be careful that you're not doing this as a revenge, or it is having some other motive or agenda, because Rahu will be in the third house, and the third house Rahu will have its journey towards the second. So you need to be very careful in giving advices when you are trying to pitch your deal, when you're trying to maybe pitch a business deal, giving a presentation, or if you are a public speaker. You will have to be very careful with your words. You will have the power to influence and manipulate. Use that in a positive manner. But the moment you will try to use it for your bad intention, Saturn will immediately create a negative impact. This Saturn in the 12th house has a 10th aspect on your 9th. And Jupiter in the 2nd house has an aspect on the 10th house. So both Dharma and Karma, if you see, the Dharma Lord aspects the Karma Bhava, and the Karma Lord aspects the Dharma Bhava. So they are taking each other's role and responsibility. So knowledge becomes your karma and karma becomes your dharma. Good time to expand, good time to learn, good time to repay your debts, but this will also increase your debt. So maybe you're buying a home, taking a home loan, maybe you're buying a car, maybe you're buying some assets. Be very careful in how you are putting yourself in debt, especially if you are a student, if you want to learn and you're taking a education loan, or if you want to marry and you're taking a loan for that. Debts should be kept to minimum, because 2023 may see some ups and downs financially, so you need to be prepared for that. Overall, it's an extremely auspicious time. It's a time when you will be able to secure your position in your career. You will be able to see a good positive days in marriage. Family will see auspicious days and moments. You need to visit religious and spiritual places. You need to talk about knowledge. You need to be present in the energies of the divine, and maybe visit a beach for leisure. Expand your horizon. And if you do that, and if you're ready to explore, and if you're ready to experiment a bit but under control, planets are going to be extremely favorable for you. Jupiter will also aspect your 6th and 10th house. Now, when that happens, job prospects open up, salary growth comes into picture, promotion comes into picture. But then, it will lot depend if you are ready to walk that extra mile. Because compared to the amount of financial growth, the amount of karma that you will have to do is much higher. So it's not that it is going to be 1:1. But yes, your dreams will be fulfilled, your desires will be fulfilled. provided you are ready to give all your effort there. But here you will have to ensure that your duties as a human is fulfilled and you are doing what you are supposed to do. Because if you miss on your basic duties and responsibilities, then you will see there will be challenges and you will commit mistakes. Greed, jealousy, comparison has to be avoided. And when you are trying to initiate something, trust your knowledge, but also verify your actions. Overall, for Aquarius Ascendant, it's going to be a very auspicious, financially independent, financially growing time. Make the best use of it. Pisces Ascendant. For you, Jupiter will become direct on your ascendant. It is a very auspicious move of this planet because this will give you the guidance and the realization of what you want from life. And this is something where holistically it affects the entire horoscope. It brings more clarity of life. It brings more clarity and clears the air of doubt. And the fog that was accumulated in the mind will now go away and you will see things more clearly. Combine this transit with Saturn placed in the 11th house and see if these two planets become more and more stable. This will give you new ideas and opportunity and will give you new path to success. Obviously, if you're a Pisces ascendant or moon sign, then you are the one that is maximum affected by this because it will be getting direct. Jupiter will be getting direct on your ascendant. Because if a planet like Jupiter is on ascendant, it will aspect 5th and 9th house apart from the 7th. That means the entire divine trine is under the influence of Jupiter. And with Pisces in the 1st house, Cancer, the exaltation sign of Jupiter, will fall in the 5th house, which means the 5th or the Guru Tattva, Guru aspect, the aspect of knowledge of Jupiter, falls in the house of knowledge. Good time to take initiatives with respect to studies, post-graduation, if you want to expand your knowledge. Good time to accept responsibilities and then work towards that. It's also a good time to convert your finances, your liquid money into assets. But be very careful because of the presence of Rahu in the 2nd and retro Mars in the 3rd currently. This can push you to take some unnecessary steps thinking that the time is right. But then Jupiter means that you know before you act, and Saturn means you should know all the consequences before you take that decision. So if you are going slow and if you have all that filters available, you will see that you will take right decisions. Just wait till Mars becomes direct. Post January, Saturn will move in your 12th house. And when Saturn moves in the 12th house, if you are a Pisces moon sign, you will start your Sadesati. Now, should you fear this Sadesati? I will say no. On one hand, the Jupiterian energies will protect your mind and will tell you how to get out of the problems. But on the other hand, if you do not follow the path of Jupiter, then you will be under Pap Kartari Yoga. So there is a caveat. You must follow the path of Jupiter, and the path of Jupiter is spiritual. It is a path which is inclusive. It is a path which wants you to expand your horizon and expand your thought process, thinking, broad-mindedness. It is a very good time for teachers. It's a very good time for trainers, enthusiasts, seekers, someone who is into spiritual world, someone who wants to learn healing, and someone who is into the profession of expression like acting. Pisces is the ocean of knowledge. And when Jupiter starts expanding this, people will also love how much you know, which means you can prove to be a very important and a vital resource in your job. And your inputs, along with other people's suggestions, can take your business to places because Jupiter will directly aspect the 7th house. But see, because Saturn has a third aspect on this Jupiter, you have to understand that especially if you are into a bad business, that means the business which is not doing well, this means that you should not immediately pump your money, but rather learn a lot about the market and take small steps one at a time and go for a long shot. If you are trying to somehow bring profits from midair, that's when Jupiter and Saturn will stop supporting you. You should always understand that these planets are favorable to you. Even the 10th aspect of Saturn falls in the sign of Libra, which is the sign of your exaltation. This is also the time when you will see that you will spend more money on yourself. So use it for good purpose. You can fulfill your passion. You can learn a musical instrument. And also you should pray to Narayan and Ma Saraswati. Jupiter will also aspect Scorpio zodiac sign with its 9th aspect. So if you take the blessings of priests and if you do yagya and havan during this time, if you take a sankalp of a particular mantra and you do that mantra on a regular manner, this will be a great time to actually correct your horoscope energies, especially if the energies are continuing from many births and affecting many members of one family. It's a good time to expand your wealth. But be very careful when you are extracting wealth from your inheritance, something that you have received, maybe from your in-laws, or maybe something that you have saved for some rainy day and now you are trying to pull that out because you want to invest it somewhere because you see a very good investment portfolio. I will say you have to be very, very cautious in this time because Rahu in the second house will definitely have a war with Jupiter in the first. One big thing that you should never do is try to give advice unnecessarily to anyone. And if you follow these practices, overall it's going to be a very, very positive and a soul uplifting transit for all Pisces ascendant and moon sign.